check out what my tournament rank was.
Oh boy.
So I don't really remember. Also, this attacking sound is pretty fucking hard to listen to. So I'm gonna turn that volume down a bit. 9. Yeah, I was trying to gain some ranks in this and just kept missing the money rain. I'll give this game a 3 out of 10. Should probably be 2 out of 10 if I'm feeling extra annoyed, but I'm gonna be generous. This is a pretty obnoxious game. It's full of secret items. It has a very impressively convoluted item system. There's like a million items in this game. A million items. Well, you shoot these rainbows out. You can jump on them to attack things near the rainbows, or everything under the rainbow gets attacked. But if the rainbow itself hits something, that's also an attack, but it counts as a different type of attack if that happens, which gives you different types of items. It's also pretty hard to actually hit something with the rainbow, since only the actual rainbow counts as a hit. If the enemy gets stuck under the rainbow, which is more likely to happen, I don't know, that doesn't kill them. There's a lot of items, there's too many items to keep track of. So, one thing that is like the main theme of the game is it's rainbow themed, so the diamonds that get dropped come in 7 different colors. And in order to get a permanent upgrade and more score, you have to collect those diamonds in the rainbow color order, either from left or right. Since I did that, they're blinking like this, and what awaits me at the end of the world is a door I can enter that gives me a permanent upgrade. And as it turns out, this is not some kind of secret technique. You have to do this. The game will get pretty much impossible if you do not keep doing this every world, because the permanent upgrades you get is what makes the game playable. If you die and you lose, if you lose your power-ups, the game gets impossible on later worlds. You have to play the game the intended way, and I don't like this game's intended way. That's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. The controls in this game are fucking god-awful. They're so awful, words can't describe how bad it is to move and to jump. Like, that's not how a platformer should be. A platformer should have good controls when you move and jump. This game it just feels so bad, it can't be described. The rainbows are bad too. You will accidentally jump and walk on rainbows all the time, and if you walk on a rainbow, you cannot stop. There is no way to stop. He gets sucked up the whole way, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Dead4F says, glad I'm not alone feeling this way.
This game, the problem with this game is it doesn't get the fundamentals right. The platforming fundamentals are wrong. So the game feels like shit, and all of the whole item system and everything like that obviously can't fix that problem. It doesn't matter how much effort they put into the rainbow theme and the item system and all that stuff. If the game feels like shit to play, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's useless. That's why I think this game just kind of took the wrong approach. They put in way too much effort into designing a bunch of useless things that does not make the game more fun. They needed to make the game control and play better. And then, then they can start doing all this crazy item stuff. Then I would have maybe liked it. Now, if you're really good at the game and you've somehow mastered the horrible controls, then the game probably does get a little better, because there's a lot of cool things you can do with the rainbow. You just need a permanent upgrade so that if you die, you can still use the rainbow. Because if you die, you shoot at half the speed, so you can't kill anything, and you only shoot one rainbow rather than 3. And if you get upgrades so that you shoot more than one rainbow, you're gonna shoot so slow that it actually makes the game even harder. You have to get the fast shooting upgrade first before you get the multiple rainbows upgrade, or the game will get pretty much impossible on later worlds. And here, as you can see, I cannot get the diamonds in the right order. It's too hard in World 2. I can only do it in World 1. In World 1 I get the permanent speed upgrade, so that if I die I still respawn with speed. But you have to do it in Worlds 2 and 3 as well to get better rainbow upgrades. So this is a reset heavy game if you're serious about that. The reason I'm doing that is to get the money rain faster. Counts as a red star, and if I do 20 red stars, I will get money rain, which is important. I'm actually amazed there's people that genuinely like learn to play this game, because this game is ridiculously hard. It is ridiculously hard, and I think the Yolympics... Here's the money rain. I think the Olympics leaderboard really reflects that, because no one even gets close to a high score in this game. The guy who scored the highest was also far above the rest, but he's still like not even close to a really good score. Not even 10% there. So I think that says a lot about how hard this game is. Probably the hardest game in the whole tournament.
Trap0xf says, game rating 3/10 LOL.
Oh yeah, I mean this game is bad.
I can't disagree though. Pretty fucked game.
It's bad. Don't let the exterior fool you. This is a bad game. This fucking sound, man. I'm turning that shit down. It's giving me a headache to listen to that rainbow sound. I don't want to listen to that anymore. Silent Rainbow Islands. Alright, maybe I'll keep it here. That is one of the most destructive fucking sounds. It's ear rape. I can't do anything there because if I move, he's gonna move all the way up the rainbow. If I jump, I die. I mean, there's nothing I can do there. I'm stuck.
Project Co says, all I see is a weird ass reskin of Bubble Bobble.
Bubble Bobble is single screen, which is much better for this type of gameplay. Bubble Bobble is a much better game.
Trap 0xf says, Bubble Bobble is a way better game LOL.
Does this look fun? Does that look fun?
Trap 0xf says, the rainbow stuff is so jacked.
Yes, trying to build like this is very precise because you have to turn around and then you have to press the button right after. Same thing when you're moving straight forward, you have to push forward and then press the button right after. Or it fails. Now I have slow shooting double rainbows. This is pain because it takes forever. I'd rather have slow shooting single rainbows. It's extremely bad to have slow shooting multiple. It's a shame that this is my PB because, you know, it could have been a lot. I could have had a much better PB than this, but every run fails to get the money rain. Every run that had a decent score failed to get money rain. What a piece of crap. The controls are so bad, it's can't be described.
Chimfritter says, LMAO.
Yep. Definitely a very bad arcade platformer. Alright, let's see what's up next. I don't remember. It's... where is it?
Hirocker Kaiju
Rally
says,
X.
Ride in on a paintbow.
Rally X was fun. I like that one. It's not great, but it's pretty neat. Can't complain about Rally X. Okay. And I got a pretty good score in that game. I was pretty satisfied with it. What's it? Okie dokie, Rally X. Let's check what my tournament rank was. I was 4th. That's pretty sick, because this game was a had a very competitive leaderboard.
Says, Rally XXX live on Twitch.
6 out of 10 for this game.
Says,
It's a classic.
Time to change category to pools, hot tubs and beaches, you lecherous man.
There's always a Rally X game in the Olympics. I've been in 3 Olympics, every single one have had Rally X. New Rally X, and then Rally X Arrangement, and then this Rally X. So clearly they have a hard-on for this series. Which, you know, I never even heard of this series before a few years ago. I never even heard, didn't even know it existed. But apparently it's like super classic. Super classic. And out of the games, I appreciate this one because it's harder than New Rally X. And I think that's a good thing, because, you know, the game is very simple, and making it ridiculously hard, probably not a bad choice for a game like this. You don't get tired of it as fast, you know, if it's fucking you up. Rally X Arrangement, though, I mean, I think that one's the best because it just was the most fun to me. But this game is fun too. So it doesn't start out too crazy, but it starts out noticeably much harder than the other Rally X games. Much harder than Rally X Arrangement or New Rally X.
Now I associate classic with that.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for the S flag, and I happen to find the S flag last. The scoring system in this game is very RNG based, because you cannot see on the map where the S flag is, but the sooner you collect the S flag, the better. It adds up quite significantly. And then there's the fuel bonus. The reason I looked for the S flag on the challenging stage, which is a bonus stage, is precisely because there's nothing chasing me, and I figured that most of the time when I do that, I'm probably going to end up gaining score from it, although there is a risk I might lose because of the fuel bonus. I figure I'm more likely to gain score from doing it, that's why I did it. Now we're on a new map, and on this map there's a trap in the top left, and if there's flags in the top left, we save those for last, because there's a trap there. You go in there, you're not coming out alive. You're most likely not coming out alive. You could if you're lucky, but don't count on it. So I made it so the flag positions are all random, but I created routes for the maps. For this map, yeah, I had a route that I would follow more or less, regardless of where the flags are. I say more or less because you're gonna have to improvise a little bit. But like, I'd more or less drive around the stage in a certain way and pick up the flags in a certain order, following that route. But of course, the flags aren't always in the same places, so I'm going to have to drive slightly differently each time. But see, this time there's no flags in the trap area, and that's actually quite a big deal when it comes to the luck aspect. So a good lucky flag order this time. I'm running out of fuel, but it looks like I'll... Oh! No. My poor car got hit. By the way, the enemy AI in this game is weird. They are so weird, I don't understand them at all. Dying there increased my fuel bonus. Keeping alive, obviously, is something you'd rather have. But at least if you die on the last flag, you can finish with a big fuel bonus. That probably gave me like 6k extra. So, you know, a life is worth more than 6k, but at least you get something in return. If you die, if you have a late death like that. Now I went into the trap area, and I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have done that. The enemy car went left instead of switching to go into the trap area to hit me, but you know, I can't count on that always happening. So I should not have gone into the trap area like that. Here I'm creating a barrier for myself. Using the smoke screen eats fuel. So you want to do it sparingly, but I mean, if you respawn and you only have one flag to catch, then you may as well use it quite a bit extra. And this time we find the S right away. That's lucky. So last time I had the worst possible luck on the last sharding stage. The S flag was the final flag. This time we have the best possible luck, and the flags are also in nice positions. So that's karma. And because of all the high fuel bonuses because of the deaths, I'm starting this third map with a lot of score. So that's nice. I mean, I would have preferred to start it with more lives, but can't complain. More lives instead of more score would have been preferable. On this stage, you can tell on the minimap that the cars are just kind of very chaotic. They are just very chaotic. They are just moving around wherever the hell they want, and there is no way to know what the fuck those cars are up to. I mean, they're everywhere. They're fast, and they're just like spreading out like crazy. Here's a trap flag. And look, the cars aren't even chasing me. I don't even know what to say about that. The cars aren't even chasing me. It's so weird. The cars are very strange. Right now, it's looking bad because I have not quite collected a lot of flags, and I'm probably gonna run out of fuel on this life. That's what it looks like to me. So yeah, this game, very unfair game. Looks like the last flag is in the trap area, so I'm dead. Very unfair game, but it's not boring. It is exciting, and I would rather have excitement than a boring game. Once again, a big fuel bonus from that death. Every single death I've had this run seems to have led to a big fuel bonus. So the deaths have been unfortunate in the sense that I'm always dying when there's only one flag left. But at least it gives me score. Very nice run. As you can probably tell, this game is ridiculously hard. It is much harder than the other Rally X games. Much harder. It's a ridiculous game. And a short run. Alright, next we have Roc'n'Rope. The worst game. It's simply the worst game. I hate Rygar, but I'm gonna give Rygar at least some credit. Roc'n'Rope is just an useless game. There is no fun to be had in this game. Okay, so name. It's one of the worst games I've ever played, which is probably maybe the case with Rygar as well, but Rygar at least tries. It sucks, but at least it tried. This game is just fundamentally wrong. It's just wrong. So of course I'm going to be giving this a 1 out of 10. It's just a useless game. Okay, so Roc'n'Rope tournament rank was 3rd? This was also one of the bonus games, meaning that this game got added after about a month or so. Alright, so in this game you blind the cavemen and the dinosaurs, and you shoot ropes. And you collect eggs, and when you collect an egg, you get invulnerable for a short period, and then you can touch the cavemen and the dinosaurs, and every subsequent one you touch adds 1000 to your score, unless they're blinded. If they're blinded, they'll always count as a normal kill, and it gives 400 points. So you can't allow that, because that, you know, that's gonna eat up from the chain. So you can't allow that. I've routed stage 1, although there's a lot of RNG. I've routed stage 1. The cavemen and the dinosaurs will randomly go up and down. They will randomly climb up and down. So I'm gonna try to grab that egg when they are climbing up. So the next two are probably gonna climb up soon. And that gives a lot of score. And then I'm gonna kill myself. And this is where things start to get a little weird. On life 1, you can get 5 kills from the first egg, and 6 or more. You can get 7, you can get 8 even on the second egg. But on life 2, you can, if you get lucky, get 6 kills on the first egg. And that really matters a lot, because that's 6,000 points extra. And so the route is to blind this guy to the left of the rope, shoot the rope as far to the right as possible to give myself more room, because otherwise the enemies can decide to climb the rope and then they'll die instead of getting blinded when you blind them. So that's not okay. Now we're gonna get a group of 3 here, and unfortunately we lost the luck because the 4th caveman, I tried to climb and clearly I failed. The 4th caveman came up on the right instead of the left. If he comes on the left, then we have 3 on the left and 3 on the right, and that allows us to get 6 kills. Whereas if he's on the right, it has to be 4 on the right and 2 on the left, and that takes too long, and there's not enough time for the second egg if that happens. Next, we're just gonna continue blinding them. And then switch sides, and you have to be careful when you do that. You have to keep track of which one is blinded when, because as soon as they stop getting blinded, they'll have a hitbox, and they can only be re-blinded right after the blind on the individual enemy runs out. So if you're blinding tons of enemies in one stack, they're probably not going to be synchronized, and you're going to die if you try to go through most of the time. So you have to really keep track of, somehow keep track of when you can go through. And you know, this is my strat. Just kill off every life on stage 1. You can kill off your lives on stage 3 too. You can do that.
DLS bitch more about the game. Rocker Kajuo says, "You're not explaining why it's a 110.
I mean, just speaks for itself, doesn't it?
It almost sounds interesting with the deep strat.
No, you just stand there and blind them. This isn't interesting.
Says,
I'm just standing there and blinding them. And then I'm waiting. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting. I can go for 6 kills here. Now I have to wait for those guys to start climbing up. They won't stay down there forever. They'll always climb up eventually. And you can kind of tell when they're about to climb up. If you wait too long, then one of the enemies might, you know, climb down again.
This seems like pretty degenerate shit, yeah.
Well, the enemies can also interact with you in bullshit ways. They can climb the rope, and they can cause you to fall. And you'll see a lot of that on later stages, but you know, we're not going to look at the later stages. Now, we've wasted a bit too much time, so the timer is low. So it's going to be a bit hard to get a big clear here. They can commit suicide. The dinosaur can climb to the top of the screen here, which you do not want to see. So that was a very bad life. That was a very, very bad life.
Instead of giving you points.
Now I'm on my last life, and I'm I'm not sure how the hell I'm supposed to get all the score I'm gonna get. Because from what I remember, this live fucked up later. Well, I'm gonna assume that I'm gonna get a huge life here on this level. Huge score on this life. The third caveman, or I mean the sixth caveman, is on the left side, adding to three cavemen on the three enemies on the left. So that's exactly what you want to see. I'm gonna wait for him to go down. He's going down even more. Now, this is gonna be a very luck based. It doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to get this synchronized unless I get very lucky here. Yeah, I almost could have gotten 6 there, but it seemed like a very lucky thing to have happen. Now on this last egg, my time is low, so I'm gonna have to rush it a bit. But the situation looks good. Those guys on the right are gonna climb up soon. Almost a timeout, but don't worry about it. I've done a lot of credits of this. I kind of knew what I was doing with the timer and everything. Like, I knew when the timer is too low and all that stuff. I think my route on this level was bad, and I probably should have researched it more. It was bad, I'm sure of it, but this is what I had. You can only shoot the rope at one angle, so that's why you can't just do whatever the hell you want with it. This is another stage where you can score really high. So you could suicide all your life on this stage. In fact, one of my PBs I had did just that, but it failed on the last life. I actually thought this stage was harder to milk than stage 1, so that's why I did it on stage 1. You can get like the same score on both stages, pretty much. If anything, I think stage 1 has higher potential than stage 3 when it comes to score. Now I have to dodge the rocks. That dinosaur is gonna climb the rope eventually, and I'm gonna have to kill him. If I fall now, I'm dead, because, you know, first of all, if you fall like even at a slight height, you die. So slightly higher than this, and I would die from the fall. But the reason I die if I fall now is I won't be able to reclimb the rope, and I'm gonna get killed by this stack of enemies. Now I want to get the 6 stack here. Well, it looks like I went for a 5 stack, probably out of safety. That's how you do it. Unfortunately, doing that isn't reliable. Like, the enemies can climb earlier and get in the way of the egg. Stage 4 I did not really practice, because I was focusing on the suicides, of course. So I just tried to do what I could on this stage, but yeah, I didn't play this stage that many times, so, you know. That guy, he swung the rope and it dropped me from the rope and I died. Very nice to see that this game is over. It is over and I'll never play it again. And That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Alright. Next is Rygar, right?
Says, sounds better than Rainbow Islands based on commentary.
No.
A Rocker Kaijuo says,
Rainbow Islands is much better.
Controls even work.
Rainbow Islands is actually a game. You do things in the game. That's always gonna be important. Having a game where you actually do things. In Roc'n'Rope you do nothing. You just wait. And then you kill yourself. It's fucking awful. Next, Rygar? I really didn't like Rygar.
Rocker Kaijuo says, is it a life simulator? A Rocker Kaijuo says, do nothing then KYS.
You at least you blind some cavemen and dinosaurs, you climb some ropes, you collect some eggs, and then you ride on a phoenix. I mean, that's probably more exciting than real life. Huh? Oh. Rygar. I'm giving this a 1 out of 10 as well, although maybe it should get a 2 out of 10, but I just fuck it. I hate this game. I can't lie, like I hate this game.
Project Co says, based.
So why do I hate this game? It's one of the most dysfunctional arcade games I've ever played. The controls are terrible. The hitboxes are terrible. The hitboxes especially, there's something very weird in this game. You fall through things constantly in this game. And it's awful. It's just awful. I was very lucky to get this run eventually, because a lot of the time I would not be getting anywhere. Because you just fall through everything. Oh, it's dysfunctional. The game doesn't look terrible on the surface. It's one of the most bad feeling games I've ever played in my life. Alright, so... Well, I'm keeping it on 1, but so... What is good about this game? Well, it has the spaghetti monster. The spaghetti monster shows up when you run out of time. That's pretty cool. He speeds up each time. Gotta avoid him. There's tomato demon, tomato sauce demon, or whatever. You can call him whatever you want. Kinda reminds me of like spaghetti bouillon, or however you say that in English, with the demon eyes or something. So that's pretty cool. The game has level design. That's better than having no level design. It has multiple enemies. You know, that's more exciting than having one enemy. And it has items. That might be more exciting than having no items, I don't know. The item system is actually not that bad, because if you die in Rainbow Islands, the game's like, okay, we're gonna make it impossible for you to continue unless you've gotten the permanent upgrades by collecting every diamond in the right order. But in this game, when you die, the game is like, here, have power-ups. Like, the game gives you back your power-ups pretty fast in this game. And you know, this game is pretty playable without any power-ups. But as soon as you start getting some power-ups, it makes the game a bit more comfortable, and the game tends to give them back to you pretty fast.
Do we need fractional ratings?
Yeah, I mean, we could go with that for only this one game, just to denote that.
To differentiate
Yeah.
between Rainbow Islands, Rygar
There we
and
go.
Pac-Man.
This game is better than
Roc'n'Rope says, the retard trio.
what else? Well, you can see at the bottom there the items. Each item does different things.
How much of the dysfunction was carried over to the NES port from
The NES port is totally different. It's not a port. The NES game is a totally different game. It has it's more of a exploration. It has overhead stages. It's more of an exploration game. Right. So in this game, when you're in the air and you're attacking, the attack will, about half the time I would say, the attack will not come out if you're falling. Even if you're not close to the ground yet, the attack does not come out if you're like falling, and the attack also does not come out if you attack while you're ascending. So you have to do your attack when you're in the air. You have to do your attack when you're like at your height. Sometimes the attack does come out when you're falling or when you're ascending. It's random. I've tested it extensively. It's just random. So you should just assume that it won't come out. That's why I only attack when I'm high on the screen.
Alright, that's what I was getting at.
The scoring system. Well, enemies give a fixed amount of points. When you beat the stage, you get a repulse bonus. That's every enemy you've killed adds to the bonus. That's why, you know, I like to stand here and milk until the time runs out. The timer goes faster if you're going backwards. The spaghetti monster comes out at 0 seconds. When you beat a level, if the final second digit matches the 100 score digit, you get a 10k bonus if you hold a direction when you beat the stage. It's super cryptic, but that is a mechanic. Star makes you shoot farther. Crown makes you pierce. These are very good items to find. And those other star items, they give you 70k points if you collect enough of them. So you gotta collect those. You just gotta be careful not to go backwards too much, because, you know, that wastes time. Going backwards for a T is good. Going backwards for a low score item is not worth it. It's better to just go forwards and kill things in that case. The sun is a good item, so we're not gonna leave that behind. The sun, what did that item do? It makes you shoot straight up instead of shooting in a circle when you aim up. If you bounce on that enemy, you need a tiger power up to do that. If you bounce on that enemy, which appears every 4 stages, you get 50k. But the bouncing hitbox is probably the most fucked up hitbox I've ever experienced in a platformer in my life. The bouncing hitbox is to the left of his hat. Not in the middle of the hat, not to the right of the hat, it's to the left of the hat, as in left of the hat and on the left horn. And it's in a very specific spot, and it's only there when he is landing on the ground. So it's not there if he's in the middle of the jump or when he's about to jump. It's only there when he's landing on the ground. Then it's to the left of him. So that's where you have to land. You have to jump when he's in the middle of the jump, switch left, and then go back right and hit the left of the hat when he lands. That's the only way to get the bonus from him. So that's one of the most fucked up things ever in a game. It's unbelievable. When you're climbing these ropes, you can go left or right on the rope, but like maybe 1 in 50 times when you do it, he does the animation of going left or right, but the rope stays in the middle, so you just die. So that can happen. It's happened to me on 2 of my runs. I have no idea if there's any way to know that's gonna happen or not. As far as I'm concerned, it's just random.
Project Co says, I wonder if those sprites are like Bruce Lee traces or something. Project Co says, they look so fucking weird LMAO.
There's those guys that come and form a tower. If you kill all of them close enough together, so you hit the first one and then you kill the rest fast enough, you get a bonus. And there's many different ways you can pull that off, depending on how many power-ups you have and whatnot. In fact, that's a big part of scoring in the game. Good players will go to level, I think it was 17, and then they will do that on they will spawn a bunch of towers there, move back and respawn the towers over and over and over. And when time runs out and the spaghetti monster appears, they will just like dodge the spaghetti monster and keep killing the towers for the 10k bonuses. And the spaghetti monster will eventually become so fast that you'll see multiple sweep by in 1 second. Like, it goes faster and faster and faster, and eventually they will just move like a gunshot in speed, basically, and you have to either jump over or duck under preemptively, and it will just be like 5 gunshots a second eventually. And there's videos on YouTube where people are doing this. I would have preferred not to beat the level because I have no items. But when I saw those dangerous guys spawning, I was like, man, it's too dangerous. If you swing the rope left or right, that means that you're always facing left or right when you're attacking. That's why you can swing before you attack the enemy, because you always know that you'll attack that direction next time. Next up is a hard stage. This stage is the stage that guards the key to getting a high score. There's a high score item on stage 13. And stage 12 is, well, the hardest stage you've seen so far in the game, so... You get here and you're just gonna have to pray that you'll be able to get past. Clearly those enemies don't want to live. Jumping into the lava. Now, getting the secret item on stage 13 is easier with the right power-ups.
Hirocker says, go eat. Hirocker Kaishuo says, come back.
Here we go. These are good items to get the secret item with.
Rygar still going and not at 1M. Hirocker Kaishuo says, sausage Rye garbage.
There it is. You can get that item with no upgrades, but it's significantly harder. I don't think I wanted to beat the stage there. I was probably wanted to milk, but like accidentally triggered the end. I memorized like exactly where the stage ends on a lot of stages. Probably not on that one.
Hirocker Kaishuo says, imagine a Rygar X Rainbow Islands crossover. Hirocker Kaishuo says, with Rygar milking using Tay Rainbows as a weapon. Hirocker Kaishuo says, meatballs vs rainbows.
Very difficult game, but for all the wrong reasons. Alright, next up. Sidearms. This game is not very interesting. Sidearms is the final of the bonus games that was added with 2 weeks left. Pretty nasty
says,
to do such a thing.
Sidearms was surprisingly okay among the crap pile of Yolympics.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not a crap game, it's just not very good. One seven. It was also the weakest game, I guess, because I guess I was the only guy who cleared, right? No one else cleared. It's not that hard of a 1cc.
Rocker Kajuo says.
But I'm assuming that when the bonus games were added, like no one was like ready to learn sidearms. No one chose to learn it. That's probably really all it comes down to. I cleared this on one of my first attempts. And I think it helps that the game is very improvisation friendly. It's not really a memorizer. Alright. One thing I don't like about this game is that the sound effects are buried heavily behind the music. The music is way too high in the mix. And the music is kind of obnoxious. It gets old fast, I think. It has that abrasive Capcom sound of that era, which sometimes sounds good. In this game's case, I think it kind of annoyed me a little bit, if I'm gonna be honest. There's some nice songwriting, but the arrangements can be a bit hard on my ears sometimes. The first song is fine, but you know, some of the later ones. We're just picking up every item, and then we get this super robot, and we shoot this ring around. You can also shoot left and right. It's one of the gimmicks in the game. It's, you know, there's other shmups that came out later that do the same thing, like Battle Mania on Genesis or Death Smiles. I actually didn't know there was a horizontal shmup like those games that came out this early. This is like a mid-80s game. 86 or something? 85, 86, 87? I don't know, something like that. So that's interesting. They have an idea. You can switch between all these weapons. But if you die, let's see, when you die you lose the power of the weapon you're holding? Is that what happens? I forget. Like I said, I didn't play this game for very long.
Says, game info is missing.
You are correct. Sidearms. Tournament rank 1. But this was not one of my better scores. It's just people were sick of learning shmups when this one was introduced, I imagine. 4 out of 10.
Says, or is he
the game is not.
UPS?
The game is not bad. It's just, it's almost bad. It's not. The best thing about this game is, I guess, that the enemies come out kind of fast, and sometimes they're very aggressive. The bullets come out pretty aggressively too. In these early levels the bullets are really slow, but once you're a few levels in, the game kind of picks up the pace, and it gets a bit more exciting. So I would say that's the best thing about it. You're gonna have to like spin around a lot, and you get very fast yourself. You're gonna have to spin around a lot and be very be on your toes at all times. It feels like there's a bit too much to memorize in this game, so you should just kind of chill and move around all the time. As for the bad things, I think the game is just kind of uninspired and repetitive. Once the game picks up the pace, it's just the same shit over and over. The levels barely look different, and they barely are designed differently. Like every level feels the same. The game repeats the same bosses over and over. The bosses aren't very interesting. Dying in this game is stupid because when you respawn, you have no invulnerability frame, so you can just die immediately again. So that can really suck. One death can lead into several more deaths in a matter of seconds. Yeah, there's just not much to say about this game. I think I've pretty much said everything worth saying. Well, there is one more thing at the end of the game. There's a trick. A trick that I had ended up not doing. And I guess I didn't need to either since I got first anyway. God, that's a bit much. Games like this just kind of reminds me of why
I like this song.
I've never really yeah, the song is not bad, but the intro was. This game kind of reminds me a lot of why I'm not too fond of learning random ass shmups. Just feels like kind of like a waste of time. Because, you know, most shmups just kind of feel like the same thing. It's just the same thing over and over. So that's why I'm more into like playing the same shmup over and over rather than playing a bunch of different random ones too much. Like sometimes I'll try to branch out a little bit, but usually that's because I'm playing something I you know, I want to play. Something that's a bit more unique maybe. This, you know, outside of a tournament I would never be like, oh, I'm gonna 1cc sidearms, even if it's not very hard. I wouldn't do it because it gives me nothing, no satisfaction from playing, no satisfaction from getting the goal or anything. It's just a very generic feeling game, and that's kind of what most shmups feel like to me. Might be fun just to try once or twice, but not interesting enough to play beyond that. Is this the boss? Yes. You're gonna see this boss like 10 times. I don't even know how many stages there are. There's like fucking somewhere between 10 and 15 stages, I guess. Sometimes there's a spinny boss instead. Usually you'll see that guy, and he'll get a little bit more aggressive each time. So he'll choose more and more often to like go to the left. This song is pretty nice. I just wish it wasn't so high in the mix, you know. I want to hear the sound effects. Can't hear shit, just music. But yeah, the best thing about this game, it's just that it keeps you on your toes most of the run. Like, you can probably tell I'm always like moving around. I'm never relaxed. I'm never like, oh, I can sit still and relax now. I'm always like, something could immediately come in and cause me to move.
This song or the Food Fight replay song?
This song. By far. Looks like I got stuck on the terrain there. But I didn't die yet. I just lost my super robot thing. Whatever it was called. Now I'm dead. And things are going to be a bit dicey until I get another big super robot thing.
Chimperter says, WTF an old game where your character moves. Yuraker Kaijio says, Food Fight replay song and feature is so hilarious. Yuraker Kaijio says, most epic thing about it.
Maybe like the first time. Dude, I'm dying a lot. Did it desync? No, it doesn't look like it's desynced. Did I really lose all my lives here? I actually didn't remember that at all. Every life is worth 300k if you do a scoring thing on the final boss. So
it happening multiple times a run.
I only have 1 extra life left. I lost 3 lives.
And running itself to the ground is what makes
Where is
it
I need a super robot. Lots of flailing. You see, something almost fell on me. Like you can never relax. They fall fast. Enemies just come in very quickly. That's the one saving grace of this game, I think. You have to move around all the time. I mean, that's more fun than doing nothing, like in Roc'n'Rope. This is a boss you can save spot. I saw it in a replay, so I was like, yep. I'll do the same thing. Unfortunately, I remember this now. When I was doing this run, I sat in the save spot and I have very little power, and I was like, am I even damaging the boss? Because like I think you have to shoot the middle, and the only thing I have that's hitting the middle.
Project Ghost
do I have anything that's hitting the middle?
I can even hear the song.
Clearly I am damaging the boss, but very slowly. Jesus. We're speeding this up. There we go. That was probably at least 2 minutes of waiting. Wow, at this point in the game, everything just looks the same, and I don't know how you're even supposed to tell the difference between the stages and learn where enemies will come from and stuff in this game. It just seems like a fucking pain. It's not like, say,
this is the jam.
Like a Rising game, for example. Everything looks so unique that you can very easily and quickly learn what's going on in the stage design. But in this game, it's just, I have no idea. I'm just playing on reaction everywhere. I don't know, man, this song kind of hurts my ears.
Unluck
All
says,
according to Keikaku.
the instruments in some of these songs are pretty obnoxious.
Yes, to say the least.
Hirocker Kajuo says, yet it's the hell song, see those skulls and shit. Hirocker Kajuo says, it's supposed to represent the suffering of this stage.
These guys are random as fuck, by the way. You have no idea what they're gonna do. Looks like it's gonna do nothing.
Unluck says,
They are so random.
man, this guy is fast as fuck though. Like Miyamoto in APB tier fast. Hirocker Kajuo says, there's actually multiple speed levels in this game. Unluck says, at least for a dad game. Hirocker Kajuo says, the things below the weapon gauge show the speed. Hirocker Kajuo says, and you can go from slower to faster with POWs and reverse POWs.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The POWs increase your speed.
They change speed, not power.
But there's too many items to easily play at a preferred speed or something. But I'd say in this game you want max speed.
Says, but
in this game you want max speed because everything comes in very fast. Everything shoots very fast. Sometimes you have to spin around.
Kind of a nice idea though.
This isn't a game about micro movement. It's just a game where you need to move around in bold sweeping moves.
Not from snail to lightning.
So,
but from fast to real fast.
Max speed is definitely the way to go in this.
Says, I'd like it if there was something that could scale you back down in Gradius besides dying and getting robbed.
I think Thunder Force had that, right? You choose between speed levels.
Unluck says, so the idea.
It's been forever since I played those games, but I think they had that. Oh, I'm dead? Wait, what? I have no lives! What the hell? I didn't remember this run being like this. That's tense, man.
Hirocker Kajuo says, did you mention how your weapon choice is reset when you lose your fusion mech?
Yeah, I mentioned that you lose the weapon you're holding, because that's how it works, right?
It reverts you to some dumb-ass weapon. Hirocker Kajuo says, and you have to cycle through your weapon gauge all over again. Hirocker Kajuo says, to get back to your previous weapon.
There's a fusion super mech
Hirocker
on this level.
Says, yes, when you die you lose it.
There's a bunch of levels I didn't memorize anything for because there was nothing there that I thought was worth it. This was a level where I memorized a drop on. There's a drop on this level.
You still get a reset, but without losing the weapon.
This song definitely plagiarizes something,
you just
but I can't put my finger on what it is.
5 taps of the weapon button to switch back to what you were using. Hirocker Kajuo says, full cycle through it.
Around here somewhere, there's gonna... There it is.
Rocker Kaijuo says, another good feature is
And
that
there's a
the
life.
power-ups block your shots. Rocker Kaijuo says, forever.
Now the game is finally manageable again.
Rocker Kaijuo says, you gotta take M or enemies will never be hit.
Oh, they block your shots. Yeah. That's why you can't like do whatever the hell you want. You kinda just wanna mass collect everything most of the time. I think the boss on the stage, wasn't it one of those spinny things again? And this was one of the spinny things where you just wanna sit in the middle. No, it's not a spinny thing. It's this thing again. He's going left. What's he doing? No one knows what he's thinking. Who knows what that boss is thinking?
Rocker Kaijuo says, TFW, you literally forgot it's possible to fire left in this game. Rocker Kaijuo says, on this boss.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Are you sure that damages him? Like, I guess I figured he would only take damage from the left. He would have like armor on the right. That's probably why I never thought of ever trying that. Yeah, I never tried for shooting left on the boss. Never crossed my mind. Just more of the same in this game. Every stage is just the same thing. And there's a worm on the screen, you spin around. Every time. Spin around, spin around. I really want to know why they made like 10 million stages in this game. Doesn't make sense to me. Wouldn't like 5 or 6 stages be enough?
Mary's Ken says, Capcom always has a million stages right.
Yeah, we played free Capcom shmups this Olympics. It's pretty excessive. 1943 has 16, I think, and they are all the same thing. Every stage is the same thing every time.
They needed as many stages as they had songs. Rocker Kaijuo says, they RLY have a lot of them.
We're fighting this guy for like the 7th time, maybe? 6th or 7th time? 8th? I don't know. Hard to keep count. I just want this run to be over soon. Holy shit. It's just the same thing. Another evil sounding song. But it's the same stage as all the other stages. The song is really cool though. This is like really evil sounding. Not exactly a complicated song, but it's video game music. Doesn't need to be complicated. Some ice in the background. The background on the stage looks pretty sick. There's a cow in the ice. Oh, it's this boss again. Is this the end of the game finally? No. Ugh. Never ends. Oh, this is the one where you just sit in the middle.
Mary's Ken says, you don't remember?
No. Why would I? I only did 2 credits. I think I checked out the game like 1 or 2 credits, and then I did the save state playthrough the game, and then I did 2 more credits, and then I got a 1cc. Why would I know anything? But now surely this is the last boss now, right? Yes. It's a worm you just spin around. Now, you can actually score 300 points for every extra life you have on this boss, with some suicide tricks. But I was just like, nah, I only have 2 lives, I don't care, so I just beat the boss. And I figured that like if other people are gonna start beating this score, then I'll just do it again, and suicide my lives next time. From testing with save states, the suicide trick itself is... it's weird, I don't really understand it, but when I tried doing it, I usually got the 300 points from it, so... Oh right, I think I forgot to... There was something I forgot to do. Yes, I forgot to leave the armor on the screen. I picked it up before the boss fight started, right? Yes. So, if I saved the armor, I would have tried suiciding my life, so I could pick up the armor after I respawn again. But because I picked up the armor first, I forgot that the last boss was coming up. I decided to just beat the game. I think that's what happened. Man, yeah, I can't remember what's going on in this game. It's just such a bland game. Criminal act. Alright, glad to see this game is finally over. Never playing that one again. Street Fighter Alpha 3. This one I liked. But you know, fighting games for score is always going to be a bit...
POO did game design. Rocker Kaju says, together with Kakaji.
What's the ROM called? SFA 3. This one I liked. It's a good fighting game, I think. I don't really play fighting games. So I won't comment too much. But all I can say is that I thought this one was pretty fun. $2,755. There it is.
This is Street Fighter Alpha 3. Street Fighter Alpha Legendary Character. Select fighting style.
7.
Get ready, fighters. Go for it.
My tournament rank. $11th. Yeah, I got pushed down a lot. I was actually 3rd when I did this score, I think. But everyone kept beating me. Very, very difficult leaderboard, I think. So this was one of the games I played the most, and a big part of it was I was looking for a character and a strategy. It was a lot of searching. My first maybe 4 or 5 hours on this game was pure misery. Just fucking misery. I was using mostly damn, I don't remember her name. I don't remember. Turska was using her, he probably remembers. There she is, Sakura. And I was getting nowhere. I couldn't get a million even, I was getting nowhere with this character. And I learned every special move, I could input all the moves, it just wasn't working. The AI was too strong. And then I found the magic. I found Rose. That was how I started to get, I got 2 million or something with Rose. Rose changed everything. I PB'd almost immediately when I switched to Rose. And the main reason was Rose has one move where you just crouch. This is a 6-button game, so it has small punch, medium punch, big punch, small punch, medium kick, big kick, basically, for buttons. So if you crouch and press medium punch, you do a move that just beats every AI almost every time. Did this run desync? Or what happened there? No. That was weird. Anyway, I used her, and I was playing her for quite a while. But the problem with using that strategy was I couldn't very often get, I almost never got a no damage round. And if you get a round where you take no damage, that gives you quite a bonus. Not to mention that if you beat the game without losing a single time, that increases your, you get a winning chain for that. So if you lose a single round, that fucks up your winning chain, and that's a reset. You can't allow that unless it's maybe at the very end of the game. And that was the problem with Rose, is that the strategy was incredibly easy to do. The execution, you can't ask for easier execution in a fighting game than that. You just crouch, you press mid punch, you fuck everyone up. Of course, I knew other moves too, so that if it was necessary, I would do other things too. But that was mostly what I was doing. It just wasn't consistent enough to give me, no loose runs and no damage wins. And then I was taught about Chun-Li, and that was another big step. I didn't actually spend that much time on Chun-Li, but I quickly picked up on what I was supposed to be doing for a lot of the enemies, and yeah, she ended up having my PB as a result. I wouldn't be surprised if I actually played Sakura for longer than Chun-Li, but Sakura was going nowhere. It was going nowhere. At least playing Sakura for that long kind of taught me about the other characters. Like, I kept losing to the other characters. It kind of taught me about their moves and stuff. So the solution for this guy is to just stay on the ground and use a crouch big kick at the right times and keep the right distance when you do so. That way you can no damage him. So I just needed to learn more solutions of this nature for more enemies.
Rocker Pajno says, Sakura's hard as FTBH and the scoring potential is so bad about her. Rocker Pajno says, I liked it and got a no miss but literally got 1.8 M points using it. Rocker Pajno says, with bad score RNG.
There's a lot more characters I want to try. Like, I wanted to try Karin, but I just never got around to it. I mean, Chun-Li. A lot of people were using Chun-Li for score. For a good reason, I imagine. She's very, very good. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, there's a lot of stuff you can pick between when you start your run. For example, you can pick between playing in normal and turbo speed. And I picked turbo speed because it's better for your time bonuses to do so. I imagine it makes the game harder, so it might be easier to get more like no damage runs, more no damage rounds. I mean, if you play normal speed. But I didn't feel like I had the confidence to do that. I just wanted to make it more runs in. So turbo just felt natural. Like if I play turbo, I'll save myself a lot of time. Just get more runs in, bigger time bonuses. You can also choose between 3 different fighting modes, which have a bunch of different properties, and some of the moves even change. And if I recall, I actually don't remember which one I picked, but I think oh, it says down in the bottom, Exism is the one I picked. This game doesn't really have a difficulty curve either. The AI is just kind of has more or less the same difficulty the whole run. Probably one of the reasons why it's kind of hard to... The game is kind of hard at the start. The AI is just very strong at the very beginning already. You can probably tell based on my gameplay that I'm not a fighting game player. I don't really know how fighting games are supposed to be played. So I just kind of input buttons and hope for the best. And against the computer, against the computer, you can just learn strategies that work because they're a computer, so they don't play around your strategies. You know, if you find a strategy that works, and it's gonna work. The computer isn't gonna like get intelligent and outplay that strategy. So with Chun-Li, there's basically 2 different kinds of opponents. There's the one where you mostly stay on the ground, and there's the one where you try to use the air more. Most of them are the second one, where you try to stay in the air more. And in that case, the magical combo is to either jump, high punch... what was it again? Jump, high punch, crouch, high kick when you land, or jump, high punch, stand, high punch when you land into other moves. And most of the other moves, you don't really need to use that much against the computer. Although it obviously, I'm sure it helps to learn everything you can do and use all the moves to their full potential. I'm sure that would be much better, but Chun-Li is good because you can just kind of learn a couple of core things, and if you just remember what works on each computer, you're basically set. I'm not sure why Cammy is so weak. This is one of the last stages, and she's generally weaker than the other opponents. I say as she proceeds to pummel me. I missed that super again. Well done. This is a bonus stage that only some characters gets, like maybe half the cast gets this, the other half gets -1 stage. And this one is really easy for some reason. I'm not sure I ever lost this with Chun-Li. I don't think I ever did. Look at this. I think I remember what's gonna happen here. This is beautiful. Perfect. It gives you a lot of bonus score. That saved this run. Getting that perfect there. Saved this run. Bison is bullshit because he can do a move that I think you're forced to take damage on if he uses it. You can manipulate his AI to cast that ranged attack, which is what I'm doing here. Just be aware that if he uses his super, there you go. If he uses his super and you're not preemptively blocking, you're gonna die. So that's why you know. Maybe his strat for this boss is to be ducking, to be blocking most of the time. There's no time to block once he uses it. You're dead if you're not doing it before he uses it. So that was the only loss, but this late in the game, I don't think Bison actually has a... I'm not sure Bison actually has the win chain in him. If he does, you know, I lost a bit of score there.
I know there's one Street Fighter final boss who has a bullshit special he can use to regenerate his whole health bar. Tour and Chieftain style.
Well, that was Street Fighter First Strike, right?
Which game that is
the final boss in that resurrects himself.
Lux says, oh, there you go.
Yeah, we played that last year in Yolympics. Every single Yolympics I've joined, there's been a Street Fighter game, and that's been the only fighting game. So clearly they have a hard-on for Street Fighter as well. Don't care about any other fighting games. Which is fine with me. I actually never played any of the Street Fighter games before the tournament. So I never played Street Fighter 2, I never played Street Fighter 3, and I never played Street Fighter 3 Alpha 3 before I played in these tournaments. So at least they've introduced me to some new games. And yeah, Street Fighter series is pretty cool. I actually never really got into it at all. It's pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan, but
they're gonna have to run out of them eventually, I guess.
Like maybe if I was better at fighting games, I would have a better understanding of like what makes a fighting game good. Because I don't think I'm good enough at fighting games to really be able to tell. As far as I can tell, there are other fighting games I like more, but Street Fighter series is still pretty good.
Lux says, you know what the next boomer fighter choice would be? Mortal Kombat, maybe.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat, probably. Tekken. At least when I was younger, Tekken was like very hip. Cool people would be playing Tekken.
Project Co says, cue that guy on YouTube who got the Mortal Kombat WR during 4-hour runs.
Personally, I like the Samurai Showdown series and World Heroes series. Although World Heroes is kind of like Street Fighter, but I prefer the cast. So I mean I'm superficial like that. I just prefer the cast a bit. And Garou Mark of the Wolves was really good. That was excellent. Very good fighting game. And The Last Blade 2 was also really good, although I've never played it against another player, so I can't really speak on that. And from what I've seen, it has competitive issues with infinites, so that kind of sucks.
Unlux says,
I also grew up.
early Tekken games might
I grew
be
up playing
old to
Soul
enter
Calibur
into this
1 a
kind
decent
of
amount.
event.
Decent amount. Soul Calibur 1. It was a really good game. So I've played fighting games. I've just never really learned how to play fighting games, if that makes sense. I don't know the terminology, the way you're supposed to. It's like someone who plays shmups but don't know what streaming is, or herding, or whatever you want to call it. For example, it's I don't know, man. Fighting game stuff. I don't fucking know. All right. Only a few games left now.
Unlux
Let's see what's
says,
next.
There's a lot of fighting game
Super Hang-On is
terms
next.
I forget the meaning of all the time.
And after Super Hang-On,
Project
things will slow down a bit. But Super
I'm
Hang-On
not sure if a lot of people
is
know
really cool.
fighting games vs CPU stuff, period. Project Co says, versus humans, sure.
I mean, versus humans is way more complex, right? I don't know anything about playing versus humans. My Super Hang-On run was one of my better ones. Of course, my Sailor Moon run was the best of all my runs by far, but my Super Hang-On run might have been like second best or close, at least, of all the runs I did this tournament. It's at least in my opinion. I was very happy with this run. I didn't need to come back to this game. Alright, so we fill in here. We're playing on the beginner course, because that was the only one that was allowed. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. What was my rank? 4th. Surst absolutely beasted this game, like no one came close to him. Alright, so it's a simple driving game. It's gonna be over very quickly, so there won't be much time to talk about it. You have something called a supercharger, which basically can increase your max speed from 280 kilometers to 324 kilometers, and while you're using it, your score goes up faster as well. So you want to be able to use that as much as possible. You'll get a better time, and you'll also get better score when you finish, the more of it you can squeeze in. Touching outside of the road forces you down to below 280 kilometers, so below max speed, and you have to be in 280 kilometers to have access to the supercharger. If you're in 279 kilometers, you can't use the supercharger. So it's important to learn to be able to be in 280 kilometers as much as possible. And whenever you cannot be in that speed, to try to use a strategy that will allow you to reach that speed again as soon as possible. So if you're forced to go off-road or brake, a lot of the time, the best strategy is to go off-road. Like here, go off-road for a little bit, that gives me access to the supercharger earlier than if I was braking. That would be worse than going off-road slightly. I'm already on stage 5, man. You see how this is going by fast. The game gets far more difficult. The first 4 stages are kind of a warm-up. Stage 5 is quite significantly hard, and stage 6 is pretty brutal. Even if it's called beginner course, stage 6 is brutal because there's enemies everywhere. And this game does not have much freedom when you're steering. Like, if something's in your way, it's really hard to make that thing not be in your way. That's just kind of how this game works. Notice how I'm off-roading at just the right times to give me a supercharger back. Well, that was a mistake. That one could have been better. This was a mistake as well. Some mistakes towards the end. But still, this is a great run because I never crashed. I never bumped into a single enemy even. In terms of sheer survival, it was flawless. And I didn't go slow. I mean, I could have gone faster, but I didn't go slow. So I was really satisfied with that. The game has 4 courses, and this is the easiest one. And the easiest one is still not a trivial one to see by any means. It's about on the same level as Outrun, I would say. Whereas the harder courses get way more difficult than Outrun. And when you beat a course, you get an ending that is for that specific course. So every course has a different ending that kind of builds on the one that came before. So the hardest course kind of has the most kind of mind-blowing ending, if that makes sense. This is the only one I want to see, but I'm kind of interested in maybe trying to want to see a harder course, because I really do like the game a lot. So that was only over in 4 minutes. Three games are remaining, and the next game is Super Pac-Man. Super Pac-Man. I'm not really a Pac-Man fan, but there's always gotta be one. This is another series that every time I've been in the Olympics, every single time there's been a Pac-Man game. No exceptions, there's always been one. Never 2, but always 1. So they have a hard-on for Pac-Man games. Although, interestingly, I didn't see a lot of people saying they enjoyed this one, so this was probably a vote due to familiarity rather than liking the game. Not even the Pac-Man fans were like, oh, Super Pac-Man is so great. Like, a lot of them were just like, I hate Super Pac-Man. But they probably still voted for it. It's very strange stuff. Just very strange. What is my INP called? It was a pretty difficult leaderboard as well, since, you know, a lot of people know, you know, they know their stuff on Pac-Man. So it was not the easiest leaderboard, so my rank wasn't great. So personally, I actually didn't dislike this game. I didn't like it as much as Miss Pac-Man, but I liked it more than the first Pac-Man. So I'd say 4 out of 10 seems fair, because I don't dislike the game, I just don't really like the game either. It's average. My tournament rank was 9th. Not bad, considering it's a Pac-Man game. Okay, so this game I would say is much more difficult than original Pac-Man, like way more difficult. It's a very difficult game. Compared to Miss Pac-Man, honestly, I'd still say this is probably harder. The game just kind of gets out of control after the first, like, I don't remember, like 9 stages, 10 stages, something like that. The game gets really just ridiculous. Did I really lose the life on stage 2 and continue? I guess so. I guess I did. Okay, so every time you beat a stage, everything changes. The map looks the same, but every single key unlocks different doors. And that does matter. It changes the routes. In order to be good at this game, you have to learn a route that is for a specific stage, and that route won't work on the stage that comes after. So you're gonna have to learn a lot of routes, and you're gonna have to remember each and every one. Somehow. Now, it does make sense that you probably don't need to actually learn the entire route, but rather just like the first half of the stage, and then the rest you can probably win based on knowledge and skill. Yes, you've missed Food Fight. I'm sorry if you wanted to see it. Food Fight was from an earlier stream. So the stages now are still easy, because right now the power-ups still work. The power-ups stop doing anything eventually.
Crimson Spark 6 says, sad.
And as long as the power-ups still work, you can just cruise through the game. So the game starts easy and then gets hard later. It's very hard to control that thing in max speed. When you're Super Pac-Man, it's very hard to control it. I think anyone who's played this game and tried to control that fucking thing must know how hard that is. And after this, there's only 2 games left. And the next game is gonna be a bit slow. But then the last game will be a nice finisher, I think. If I remember correctly, this was the first sort of hard stage, right? Yes. This is where you have to change your approach. You can't just use all the power-ups the whole time. You have to change your approach on this level to patient herding, careful collecting. Now all the ghosts will get faster than you eventually, and that's where things get really fucked up. The only way, see now they're faster than me. The only way to get more speed than the ghosts when this happens is if you're under the ghost box, so right in the middle of the screen. Any ghost that passes through under that box they spawn in, slow down significantly. Or when they wrap around the screen, so left and right, there's an entrance and an exit where you can wrap around. When the ghosts pass through there, they also slow down significantly. So that's the only time you can stop the ghost from chasing you, like catching up to you. But that's only when they reach max speed, which, you know, they don't do that right away. I'm not entirely sure what triggers it, but I think it's the amount of fruits and stuff left. It seems they've reached higher speed now, if I'm not mistaken. I almost died there because the power-up was gonna run out very fast. I did a good number of runs in this game that got almost the same score, like they scored very similarly, because I had trouble getting farther after a certain point. That's kind of why I gave up on this game. It started getting really hard to get any farther. And a lot of the people above me had clearly beaten like multiple stages more than me, so... This stage is an important way to gain points. Bonus stages. Reaching a bonus stage is a big source of points. At this point, I think I'd memorized the openings on the previous stages too, of course. Starting from the no power-up levels, you have to memorize an opening of some kind. And beyond the opening, I've also memorized probably the first like 20 to 30 seconds of gameplay. Around this point is probably where I'm starting to improvise more. Oh yeah, I mean look at that, that was clearly a very bad play. That was well played. Not much to say. Looks like I made a mistake somewhere there. What is happening? Wow, what the hell? That looked really lucky.
Crimson Spark 6 says, sick.
Huh? That was sad. Very sad. But I reached the bonus stage. I mean, it's gonna give me a lot more points. I'm missing the stuff. Presents. So from this point on, you need a different route for every level that appears. Every level. Completely different route. And it's just kind of a pain in the ass. I'm stuck. Yeah, that's Pac-Man. It's not the best, it's not the worst. Not much more to say. Next is Super Pang. Probably one of the worst like stream watching games, in my opinion. But I mean, I'm still gonna watch it. There's not that much left, so may as well just finish this to the end. I'm not very interested in watching this running. But what the hell, you know? It's the second to last replay. Okay, so Spang. This is actually a good game, but we played it in a bad way, if that makes sense. My rank was third. So the game itself, I would give a higher rating, but I'm gonna give the tournament rating 4 out of 10. Simply because it was panic mode for score. So what's wrong with panic mode for score? Don't worry, there's gonna be plenty of time for me to explain and for you to see what the problem is. Okay, so on paper, this is a pretty solid game. You're running around, you're shooting these hooks upwards, and any bubbles that come into contact gets killed by the hook. And on panic mode, you start with the power-up that lets you shoot 2 hooks. It lets you have 2 hooks out at once, not 3, not 1, just always 2. It's just a nice power-up, and there are no other power-ups other than if you kill some bubbles, it stops time for a second. And every once in a while you'll get an item that can either be a star or a clock, depending on how many times it's bounced. So every time it bounces, it switches. A clock stops time for like 10 seconds, I think. And a star just kills everything on screen. Okay, so far it sounds good, right? Like the game is good. Here's the problem. There is a cap to the total mass of bubble that can be on screen at once. The total mass, that means that it's not a number of bubbles. It is, if you think of the smallest number as being the value of 1, as in the number 1, now a bigger bubble that breaks into 2 smallest bubbles then has a value of 2, because it breaks into 2 smaller bubbles. And the bubble above that would have a value of 4, because it breaks into 2 2s, and so on and so forth. The total mass of bubbles you can have on the screen is capped. That means that the optimal way to play is to only kill 1 or 2 bubbles at a time and leave the other ones as big bubbles, because one big bubble isn't going to be in the way as much as if you break that bubble 16 times and turn it into 16 small bubbles. You will have an impossible screen. You won't be able to. It'll get ridiculous. So if you accidentally shoot a bubble you're not supposed to shoot, things can quickly go out of control. So the gameplay in this game on panic mode is to be overly cautious and slow, and I do not think that is fun to do. So that is my main issue. Like the game is good. It's just the way we played it, the way you play panic mode. It's just really slow and boring. Now there's one more huge problem with this game, and this is an enormous problem for Score. There is a feature in this game that if you do nothing for 30 seconds, as in you don't shoot any enemy bubbles, you shoot nothing, you do nothing. You can move around, you just can't shoot anything. Then you will get 100,000 points and the bubbles will reach max speed permanently. Then reaching max speed permanently means that you're now locked into, you can't play the game normally anymore. So if you do this, you're locked into trying to do that over and over, like pacifying. Now, after you've done this once, you can't get a second bonus like this without shooting a bubble once. So you're gonna wanna wait for 30 seconds, shoot something, and then wait for 30 seconds again, and then do that over and over and over. That is the optimal way to play for score. Okay, so then you might think, well, there's so much stuff on the screen. If the bubbles reach max speed, won't it get impossible? So that would ruin that strat, like it would just get impossible. Yeah, it would get impossible, except you can do it on level 99 and kill yourself before you beat the game and then do it again on level 99. Because on level 99, you're gonna reach a point where the game stops spawning bubbles, and then you can control how much you're gonna have on screen when you start doing it, so that you can have as little on screen as you're comfortable with before you start doing it. And then you can proceed to do it for a very long time. A very, very long time. The world record for this game was like 3 hours long or something like that, where, 95% of that playtime is on level 99, stalling. So, now that I've explained everything that's going on in this game, my strategy is to get to level 99 with as few deaths as I can manage, and then try to milk that stage a little bit. I'm not trying to do a full milk, because that would be too hard. I'm trying to do a milk where I kill as many bubbles as I feel comfortable killing, and then try to dodge for 30 seconds, and then do it again. And I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It is very hard to dodge the bubbles on max speed. Even if there's not even that many on the screen, it's hard. So, I'm not saying it's easy. Not saying it's easy, I'm just saying the game is boring. And then there's not much more to say. The rest of the run is gonna speak for itself based on all the information I've given, I think. Slowly and carefully picking off these bubbles. There's another thing to explain there. The biggest bubble just turned into only one smaller bubble when I killed it. Why did that happen? That happened because the total number of bubbles allowed on the screen, or the total mass of bubble, as I explained before, would have exceeded the limit when I killed it. That's why it turned into only one bubble rather than two. There's also a kind of a chaining system in this game. I didn't mention that because it doesn't really matter when you can get 100k every 30 to 40 seconds later in the game. But there's kind of a chaining system where every subsequent kill on the same sized bubble adds 800 points up to a maximum of 3200. So at the start of the game you can pop a bunch of second smallest bubbles to turn them into smallest bubbles, and then pop as many small bubbles as you can. But later in the game it's not worth the risk to try to chain anything. It's just not worth it. Pretty dangerous situation. I mean, I can't just start shooting these bubbles willy-nilly. That would be suicide. I have to choose the appropriate target. Pretty dangerous situation, that one. 420,000 points right there. Looks like I'm making a lot of mistakes here. Can't seem to quite recover. Only making it worse for myself. Oh my god. Painful to see that death. Oh. I want it to be a star. Can I hit this star? There you go. Fucking scary. Fucking scary. There's gonna be an extend on 500k. I think there's another extend after that on 2 million for some reason. Or maybe it was 1 million and then 2 million. I don't really remember. But there's one on 2 million, I think. Oh, here we have another difficult bubble situation. We have a bit too many bubbles here. Still, they're nice and slow. This is nothing compared to when they reach max speed. It's kind of jarring when you get max speed, honestly. You're so not used to it because you played through the whole game on slower speed and then you gotta do that trick at the end and everything gets super fast. How am I gonna get out of this? Looks fucking insane. Oh my god. Oh, I broke another big bubble. Oh my god, I broke another big bubble. There's too much bubbles on screen now. Oh my god. So scary. I guess I should try to go after that small bubble. Oh, I missed it. Now what? Oh no. Somehow the bubbles have a pretty manageable bouncing pattern, I gotta admit. Ooh, clock. Yes, this is gonna save me. Level 99. Now should be a good time to start stalling, I think. I don't think I should break any more bubbles. I already probably broke more than I should. Okay, looks like I'm about to start stalling now. After 30 seconds, the bubbles will reach max speed and be like that until I die. Max speed, there you go. Now I have to make sure I hit the bubble before too long. Oh, I made a mistake. And then after I've done that, I can start stalling for 30 seconds again for another 100k. Of course I die, I'm so smart. I'm so good at this game. Looks like I'm ready to stall again. Hitting the one on the that's alone seems like the right one to hit. I don't like these super small bubbles too much, not having too many of them, so that's why I killed some extra bubbles for safety. Game over. Not the most exciting game to watch. Alright, final game. Is The Simpsons. Not a bad game to end with, for sure. There. I'm not sure how to rate The Simpsons because it's not easy because I don't think it's a very good game, but I really love The Simpsons. Now this is the Japanese version, which actually is a somewhat competent game. The American version of this game is total trash. I tried it out and it's just awful trash. This at least feels like a game, you know. It's not a great beat 'em up, but I'm feeling generous, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because, you know, I'm feeling generous. I love The Simpsons, I love early Simpsons. Alright. So. This is a Konami beat 'em up. That means that it's not very good. It's, you know, Konami beat 'em ups are not great, with a few exceptions. But out of the less stellar Konami beat 'em ups, this is probably my favorite. Because I love the Simpsons aesthetic. And the game is quite easy, so it's not well designed, but it's easy enough that you can enjoy it casually, if that makes sense. There's only one move you should use, which kills everything in one hit except for like bosses, I think. You have to press A and B on the same frame to do this move. And if you can pull that off, you'll do this this move. Every character is the same. Maggie, Lisa, no, not Maggie, Lisa, Bart, Homer, Marge. They're all identical with only item-related exceptions, like Homer throws a bowling ball differently, things that don't matter. But like every attack, jump attack, everything like that is the exact same thing. The same hitbox, everything's the same. So you just pick whichever character you like, basically. And I like Homer. I like Lisa as well. So just picking a character I enjoy, I would probably pick one of those and went with Homer. It doesn't really matter who you pick. Yeah, so you use one move all the time, but you can also get items, and the items are very useful. So when you can find a hammer, for example, that you should probably keep the hammer when you can find it, because it's generally better to have an item. Although the special attack is so freaking strong, you can just do everything with the special attack. So the scoring system. You get a fixed amount of points for every enemy killed. You don't get any bonus points for which attack you do on them or anything. If they die, you get 100 points. Simple. Get a fixed amount of points from everything except for stage clears. That's the only thing that differentiates it. How do you get better stage clears? On normal stages, you get a better stage clear the more health you have. So, well, then you might think, well, just don't get hit, you'll get a max, right? No, actually, the health bar has 3 different stages. When you go beyond max health, you reach the next stage, and it starts over from scratch. So you have 3 health bars. So collecting food is the only way to exceed your first health bar and reach the second health bar, and then reach the third health bar. And when you've maxed out the third health bar, then you can get a max bonus clear on the stage. So you have to find all the hidden food to max your score, and then don't get hit. So here I'm getting hit a lot. This is pretty embarrassing. The other way is on bonus stages. There's 2 bonus stages, and the faster you mash, the better of a bonus you'll get from the bonus stage. So you gotta mash 2 buttons as fast as you can, and you gotta mash them. It's optimal if you mash them not at the same time, but like at an interval. So left, right, left, right, left, right. Mash that as fast as you can. So it's kind of tricky because we're doing this without. There's no auto fire rules for the Olympics, so I had to practice that a bit to help out my score a bit. Other than that, the game is typical Konami fare. It's pretty. The enemy AI is extremely simple. It's way too simple for this to be a good beat 'em up. You know, a good beat 'em up needs to have some kind of synergy, like interesting AI that kind of works together in a good way. This game, every AI just you're above or below, they'll just go up or down. You can always get first hit in because you have a slight vertical range, and once the enemy reaches the same horizontal plane as you, or no, vertical plane as you, they'll do an attack, but they won't do it immediately, so you'll always be able to get first hit in on every enemy. There's a lot of hidden items, by the way, so you really gotta learn your hidden items to score in this game. Looks like I had a very bad stage 2. Probably cost me 2,000 points, maybe, I don't know, that's a guess. So this is one of the stages that actually has enemies that are possible, like more likely to miss than other enemies in other stages, because there are enemies on the stage that will disappear very quickly, and so that you have very little time to actually kill them before they disappear. And those enemies are worth more points too. And not every points gives 100. Not every enemy gives 100 points. Some enemies give 300 or even 500. So in order to get around this problem, I made sure to memorize a good strat on this level that I made up, involving careful positioning and slingshot use. This is a very easy game, by the way. It's probably the easiest one to see, along with like Super Hang On, beginner course or something. So it didn't take long to clear this, and after I cleared it didn't take long to get this run either. I got this run on my first shot after practicing with save states, so didn't even need to reset, just first try, over and done with. Here's the part I mentioned with the careful slingshot use. You want to line yourself up with the lower zombies so you can hit all of them with your slingshot. Otherwise they'll go underground and you'll miss all the points from them. These brown zombies don't do the same thing. They stay, so you can take your time. The slingshot has limited uses, so you don't want to miss. Apparently I'm pretty good at using this special move where you have to hit A and B on the same frame. I've seen people who can't get it out consistently, or very often at all even sometimes. Meanwhile, I seem to get it pretty much every time. So I didn't actually realize it was frame perfect until it was shown to me that it is, because I figured there's no way I can hit two buttons on the same frame consistently, but apparently I can. This part is random, but if I'm not mistaken, there should always be 2 food total. It's just that these last few barrels, you have to scroll, you have to get the boss on screen before you can get those. But it's possible that sometimes you can only get 1 food. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a safer way to do this boss, but whatever. Getting 2 hits probably doesn't even remove 1,000 points. It's not the end of the world. Most Tavern has increased in size quite considerably compared to the show. It's a lot more grand, and there seems to be a lot of angry salarymen. And even like people working here. I think Hammer is nicer than Broom, at least with Homer. Not sure about Lisa. I did Lisa once to see first. They may have a difference in how they use the weapons. I'm not really sure. Early Simpsons is wonderful. The writing and the aesthetic both. So it'll always have a big place in my heart. This was probably made around season 2, maybe at the start of season 3. This game, I'm not sure. This game feels like it has mostly a season 2 style. On this part, I think I failed in this run, but I had a plan to get the food from both the cleaning ladies, which I'm trying to set it up here. But I missed that cleaning lady. You have to be very quick, and you have to be lined up correctly with one of them at the very beginning. The reason I throw the weapon is because I never managed to get consistent with using the weapon on this boss. I didn't really understand it. Supposedly it's easier, but the way to do it without the weapon is to use the special in there's a pretty brief timing window where you can use the special on the boss before he hits you. But if you do it too fast or too late, he hits you. So it's a pretty tight window, so it's not the best strat. I think using the weapon is better. It's just I never really got good with the weapon. So with the weapon you would jump attack him over and over with it. But you know what? I kept trying it with save states, and I still took hits doing that. Alright, this is more of a season 1 feeling stage to me. I like the music on this stage. Slowly and carefully, because why not? There's no time bonus or anything. Just conserve your health. So sometimes slowly and carefully is the way to go in this game. I see a lot of people playing this game who were rushing things too much, trying to fight 3 enemies at once while they're ganging up on you. Like, I was like, no, step back, wait for one enemy to give you an opening, so you can just kill that enemy, and then move on with your life. And then you can kill the other 2 when they give you openings. It's like, you gotta take your time a bit. Yeah, Barney was in Moe's Tavern before. You could, he was just standing there. He's not an enemy, but you can still hit him. some more hidden food here. Gotta know these hidden food items. Yeah, and Smithers was black. Smithers had dark skin. And then they changed it to yellow. Supposedly though, I think I heard that was an animation error, not like a decision they made. Yeah, it was one, like the first episode he was ever in or something. Even Sideshow Bob is here. Well, that's one of my favorite characters. I have a lot of favorite Simpsons characters. It's hard to just say one. You know, there's Homer, Sideshow Bob. There is Groundskeeper Willie. Man, it's hard to think off the top of my head. Think of a character. What's his name? The lawyer. Damn, I can't remember his name right now. The lawyer. Mr. Burns, of course. Mr. Burns is my favorite. I can't believe I forgot about him for so long. Mr. Burns is probably my favorite Simpsons character. You can't beat that guy. The hidden food here is apparently only available after you beat the bear. Lionel Hunt. Yes, thank you. Lionel Hunt. Troy McClure. He's good. I mean, most characters are good characters. No doubt about that. Pretty much every character serves a good purpose in this show. I think I messed up this stage a lot because I never really got good at the boss. I was too lazy to practice the boss. Ouch. I did mention Skinner, right? I mean, Skinner is great. And of course, Lisa. I mean, Lisa has some of the most heartfelt episodes. It's just... As the series went on, it felt like Lisa episodes started getting really redundant. And they were kind of losing the heart to pull off those episodes. Like, the humor... Like, Simpsons seasons like 6, 7, 8, you know, the humor is still there, but maybe some of the heart is starting to missing, you know. Same with Bart a bit, like some of the early Bart episodes are really heartfelt, but as the series went on, it feels like Bart is not as good of a character anymore. Hitboxes, man. The hitboxes in this game are fucking funny. Oh yeah, those March heads earlier, they give 300 points each. So it's good to go after those. It's very easy to get hit by them, but they're worth the points. Only a few parts of the game where I use jump attacks. You can interrupt the lightning, as you can see. So in this game, you don't get any bonus points for clearing with more lives. You only have one extra life to begin with, but so in theory you could lose that life on purpose if your, you know, health bar isn't full on the first bar, and you could maybe gain a bit of a points there. So I could have done that on this boss, just killed myself and be like, yeah, I'll gain 1,000 points for this or something. But well, I still wasn't 100% sure I would no miss So I decided to keep this life. I actually don't get this boss at all. I should have practiced him. This boss is supposed to be easy, but I don't really get it, to be honest.
Wake up and find Maggie.
Gotta mash as fast as you can with intervals. 2 buttons with intervals. I thought I did well with the mashing on the bonus stages in this run. Saves you a lot of score if you're good at that. That's not really a score you can get back either. Like, there's a very limited amount of points you can get in this game. So the bonus stages are important, very important. It's a bit disheartening because I'm not a fan of mashing. Really not my cup of tea, mashing. Does anyone like mashing? I don't think so. Maybe some crazy guy who just loves getting injured, loves smashing, I don't know. Carpal tunnel, bro, ain't no joke. This is another stage where I like the music. Pretty complex song, I think. I think I forgot how to do this mid-boss. Yep, I forgot how to do the mid-boss. I remember now. My first one CC didn't take any hits there. There was some guy who could mash like an insanely fast. Apparently one of the fastest mashers ever or something. He would like make fun of me for not being able to mash well. He must love mashing, I guess. So hard to get uncover food. There it is. Notice how these guys give 300 points, so you do not want to miss them. Pretty important to kill as many of those as you can. This boss is one of the few places in the game where you can actually do something resembling a scoring tactic, so not like just, oh, it's a bonus stage, I'm supposed to mash. I mean, that's not really a tactic, that's just the game telling you what to do. But here there's actually a little tactic you can do. This is a very simple game, so you're not going to see much of that in this game. And the tactic is still very simple, for a tactic. It's as simple as a tactic can be. But at least it is a tactic. And I almost have full health. It's almost 3 full health bars, but not quite. So the tactic is just enemy milking. It is not more complicated than that. Every enemy gives you 300 points, and you know, it adds up. if you get hit, you lose points from the clear bonus. So getting hit, you know, it's not great, but I believe I was good enough at this that I would gain points from doing it. No questions asked. I would at least gain points. So. And if I didn't do this tactic, I would have not gotten second place, so it was worth doing. And the enemies will run out eventually. Alright, now we're on to the last stage, and this stage does not have a health bonus, so you can make as many mistakes as you want as long as you still clear. You get a fixed number of points on this stage. You cannot get more or less. I don't think there's any way. It's always gonna be 30,000 points every time. There is hidden food though, so that helps to make clearing easier, but it's not gonna do anything to your score.
Welcome to my world.
So it starts out with the angriest Smithers I've ever seen in my life. I mean, does he ever make an expression like that in the show? With this crooked smile, twisted smile. Yeah, no, I don't think he does. And he's a little bit weird. I don't really get him, to be honest. But I don't need to, because the game is not hard enough to require understanding, if that makes sense. You don't need to understand this boss. The devs of this watch the show? Oh man, who knows? I mean, Simpsons was shown in Japan. It's got a Japanese dub. But there's no way to, I don't know how much they could have watched it. I mean, it's pretty likely that some of them would have watched it because they were developing the game, but didn't watch it otherwise. I mean, that's pretty likely that at least a good number were doing. So, this is clearly a game that has a lot of thought put into the art direction and everything. That's not gonna come out of nowhere. This is a very bad Burns fight. I've had better. Here's a tactic I came up with against his face. You just spin him around like this, and every time you're on the same middle, you hit him and you keep spinning him around. It works very well when you can get him into a spinning loop. I've done that in every Simpsons run I've done, I think. Well, that's only a grand total of 2 runs. after the first season. I don't know if it was airing in Japan at that point. Yeah, this game is 1991. So that's either during the air of the second season or after. So development was probably during the second season or something. Yes, I want to stress, I'm playing the Japanese version. That's the one we played in the Olympics. Thanks to Surst knowing that the American version is trash. The American version is absolutely terrible. If we played that, it would have been awful, man. It would have been awful. Oh yeah, like the American version, the bosses are just randomly invincible and are completely unfair. It has no items, so you can't use hammers or anything. And I think some moves were deleted or something. I don't remember everything that's different. Just the biggest thing that makes it suck is that the bosses are stupid. Yeah, the American version is stupid bullshit. It's terrible. But this version's fine. It's not great, but it's a fine game. That is every game.
I played the American one in the arcade a lot and it's unfair. The Japanese one is better.
We've gone through every game, 27 games in 4 different streams, so it's taken a while. But it's finally done. This session took 3 hours or something to get through those replays. Too many games, man. I hope Yolympics never add bonus games like that again. 22 is already a lot. Adding 5 more was... That was just absurd. Who thought of that, man? Just crazy stuff. So thanks for watching those Olympics replays with me.